Hello. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry running a few minutes late. I have the cutest video. Well, it is cute, but it's of deer eating my roses in the front yard. And all of a sudden, I realized I hadn't downloaded it. And I thought, I'll just go to my phone app on my laptop and switch them over. Oh, no. I had to get the USB cord and all that. So I'm sorry, but I promise you the video is worth it. Okay. So I have been a busy girl this week, but I did take Friday off and do something just for me. This is a miniature kit that my son gave me for Christmas, and it's called the Eternal Bookstore. And this is the cutest kit. And you might not be able to see. Let me pull the light over a little bit more. But I worked on this starting after the show Thursday night. I stayed up till about 2 a.m. And now this one was an expensive kit. My son was too generous. But oh my gosh, is this just magical? And what this kit is, you receive a box, and in it lay all these flat wooden, I'm not sure, it's almost like an ultra thin laminated plywood. It's really interesting how it's done, but I think a lot of it contains sawdust with a wood shaving. And then they have something that paints on. It can be embossed. Something embosses parts to get texture. Then others do the most amazing job of painting the wood flats. There were about 8 pieces this size, and somebody has engineered them so that every square inch is used. And if you need a frame, well, inside they put other things you need. So it really makes the best use of the material. Then they take and laser cut it. And that's the only way they're able to do this kind of work. So look at this. You see where the light comes through this beautiful little edge? I don't know what happened to that. Oops. Oh, just some glue stuck. But see all the tiny little details, the book holder up there. I just think this is amazing. And there's even a little wooden doggy. And I made 100 of these miniature books. I made 23 of them that were folded paper with a cover glued on. The other ones are little pieces of wood, and the laser cutting colors them, because I said, how do they have them stained on the sides? Because it's one of those amazing things where you get to pop the pieces out. I told him just popping all the pieces out was exciting, although you have to be very gentle. Some of them are very fragile. Well, not that fragile, actually. I think I really only accidentally broke one piece. Then it has a little battery light set with 4 lights. Do you see? I don't know if you can see way in the back. See that little pretend staircase I made? And there's a light back there. So it hints at how you go upstairs to shop in the bookstore. But isn't that the cutest thing? So I'm going to sit it over here where you can see it. But wow, that was a lot of fun. So almost everything is made of wood. They had pages painted or pages printed that you use for the books and posters. But all of the pieces of art that are on the wall were just, you just had to pop them out and glue them in place. And I told him the amount of detail is unbelievable. There's this shelf right here is 4 separate pieces to really give it detail and to make it sturdy. Now, I have glued everything with silicone glue. If you get a kit like that, get a bottle of clear silicone glue. It's amazing, very strong. And I have totally glued everything in place because I don't want to lose a single thing. So this kind of kit I won't be buying for myself because they're about $50. But more like 21 is more, 24 is my price. But what a wonderful gift he gave me. And it's made to sit in your bookcase in with your books. And you can turn it on when you want to have it light up. So that's what I did Friday. And it was so much fun. I have a piece of quilt tinsel on my shirt. I like how you call it quilt tinsel. There. You know, that's how you know a true quilter. That's what Jenny Beyer told me. You really are a quilter. You're covered in threads, and had my little, my sewing needle was attached to my shirt, my little scissors around my neck. So, all right. So I did take Friday off to do that. Then yesterday, I went with my daughter, Becky, to, and her ear is healing beautifully. Boy, that surgeon did a great job. If you have to have something like that done, make sure you go to a plastic surgeon because they are artists. But it's doing really well. She gets the stitches out Wednesday. Now, but she said, do you want to go see a movie? And I'm like, yeah. We went to see the Barbie movie. Now, let me tell you, I did not play with Barbies when I was a kid. Somehow, I don't know, Barbies didn't do anything for me. And my kids, when my daughters wanted me to come play Barbies, I hated it. And so I would do things like the Barbie drowned in her Barbie pool, or she jumped off the roof and broke her legs or something like that, because I just got bored playing regular Barbie, or she crashed her car into the wall. And my one daughter, my Becky, would laugh at me. My other daughter would say, Mom, you're not playing right. But it was a way to play Barbies with them and to still keep my sanity. So anyway, we went to see the Barbie movie. And so I actually put on one of my pink blouses and my bright candy looking necklace and some bright pink and pastel striped shoes. And I thought, if we're going to see Barbie, I didn't know people were dressing to go to the Barbie movie. So we go there and there are all these people with all kinds of costumes on, or pink shirts, or Barbie's the best, or whatever. So, and my daughter got real tickled seeing that I just said, let's go with the spirit of it. And I have to tell you, it is a huge hit. It was playing at this movie theater, which has about 6 screens. It was playing every half an hour. Now, part of that is there aren't many good movies out right now, but the other part is people are anxious to go out and celebrate and have fun and see a good movie. And we walked out of there. My daughter said, that is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. And it was. She told me, she said, well, Charlie went to see it with her friends. And she said, you're going to cry, Mom. And sure enough, we did. 2 times we cried. And I think that there is so much in it for every woman. And you know what? if you can drag along the guys, there's a good message in there for them too. So I thought it was really wonderful. Rhea Perlman played the part of Ruth, the woman who invented the Barbie doll. And, it just talked a lot about what was Mattel intending when they invented the Barbie doll, what maybe happened along the way, and what we can still take from all of that. And because Barbie did change the world, and but what is the lasting effect of the whole Barbie thing? So it was a wonderful movie. If you get a chance to go, please do. If not, wait till it's out on streaming and rent it. And so it's worth it. All righty, let's see. I want to see who's here. I'm excited. So Euphoria, hi, sweetheart. And Meltem is here. Yay. And Meltem, I got your photos. I'm hoping I downloaded them okay, so we'll show them during show and tell. And Meltem, Teresa, I think right now my brain is I've been working really hard today trying to get ready for today's show. Oh, it's humid in Florida. Yeah, who's ready? Hold up your hands if you're ready for summer to go away. So it's funny, Mark and I have been watching a lot of the train videos from Norway. And I said, do the ones with snow. Because just watching those train videos makes you feel cooler. So anyway, it is so great. In fact, how is the heat in Turkey, Meltem? Because I tell you, I heard the other day, where was it? Was it Iran? I don't know. They had like the hottest temperature recorded. It was so hot. So, but Debbie is here. Yay. Jody is here. Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. I got the email from Jody that says our Edita Sitar. I have to always remember. How do I pronounce her name again? Edita Sitar is having a free giveaway on her laundry basket quilt site. And this weekend only. So soon as we're done here, rush over and get a free trip around the world quilt download. Okay. So that is really nice. And thank you, Jody. I would not have known if it hadn't been for you. So thank you for telling us. My hair is a little flat. I really should have washed it this morning, but I'm like, I'm busy. I'm doing stuff. Okay. So anyway, but Marcia is here doing a beautiful job welcoming everyone. Thank you. Kathy Klein is here. Kathy, we want pictures of your Bargello. We want to see that, even if it's just part of it. So, and speaking of Bargello, I have a surprise to show you about that. I want you to tell me what you think. All right, so let me go. Oh, Mary's here. Hi, Mary. Let's see who else. Barbara Smith. Hi, sweetie. So, let me see. Oh, aren't laundry basket quilts amazing? So Betty's here. Hi, hon. Betty sent me a picture of her halfway done Bargello. So I'll be showing that during our show and tell. And oh, thank you. Thank you, Kathy. That is very sweet of you. I'm very honored. Thank you. It was my pleasure. I can't wait for us to do the next class. So let's see who else. My eyes aren't working right. I don't think I cleaned my glasses good. Hi, Charlene. Hello. It's stormy in Florida. We all need to work really hard and blow all of the rain up to Canada. Do you know that they have had the size of the wildfires up there is larger than most countries? That's huge. And I feel so bad for them. So, we had poor Australia a couple years ago. Now poor Canada. So, and you know what? Don't let them tell you otherwise. We're all in this world together and we're all dependent on each other. So we need to send our best wishes up to Canada and turn on fans, whatever you need to blow the rain to Canada for our dear neighbors there. So there's another thread. And boy does the thread show. Boy, does that thread show on dark shirts. That's why, remember a few years ago when the trend was, put dark wood floors in your house? I was the person watching, what's the house show? The house selling show. I was the one in the background saying, no, don't use dark wood floors because they show every little bit of dust and dirt and everything. Well, of course, that trend didn't last long. Any mom could have told them, hey, dark floors are a dumb idea. So, in fact, any kind of flooring that stays in the color of dirt range is a good floor, or in the range of whatever shedding dog you have or cat. So, but it's nice to see Charlene. You think you mailed a photo to me? Oh, I might not have gotten it. I don't remember getting it at all. And I've been checking emails. So you might want to try to send it again because you wouldn't believe how pretty her Bargello was coming together. She used prints and it really gave a different feel. And it kind of looked a little bit Moroccan, a little bit tapestry-like. It was really pretty. All right, so it's extremely hot in Turkey. There was a flood. Oh no. This weather is just crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, so I didn't want to show you this until I was done with just one half of it, but I'm probably going to. We got so much to cover today. I finished my circle weaving, and it was a lot of fun. It's a good mindless thing. Now, I say it was mindless. That's because I didn't put fancy patterns in the weaving. I just went in and out every other one all the way around until I was done. Now, when you do them the way Miss Polly does, then you've got to count and you've got to think. And my brain's too tired lately. But let me see if I'm not going to be able to work on it. I'd rather spend time with you. I was hoping I could come down here and get ready and have time to finish showing. All right. This is my Bargello quilt that I made that class week. And if you remember, this is the focus fabric I bought to go with it. But what I found, and this is where I'm hoping one day to be able to foresee when something's not going to work. But, this is not a quilt you could make one block, see how it looks. It's kind of a process. But I think that you'll see that the background kind of looks blah. This beautiful fabric, but the colors that I chose are so intense. That is one of my problems. I love colors so much that I tend to overwhelm the pattern or the quilt. So now I'll show you what I've done to fix this, because this was a lot of work and I really like it. Even though it's very bright, I really like it. So what I did was cut my leftover fabrics to make a piano key border. And the border that I took off, I went ahead and cut into piano keys. So here it is. Now I'm going to pin this up on the wall on the board so you can see what it looks like. So while I'm pinning that up, enjoy this cute, whoops, up, there we go. Enjoy that cute miniature hat or library. All right, let's see what side I'm going to put up. All right, This side will do. Just about have it pinned up, and then I can show you. All right. Whoops. And I dropped pieces all over the floor. I cannot keep a clean floor to save me. All right. Now I will show you there. Whoops. Whoops. Back up. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Here is the piano key border for the quilt. And tell me if you think that that will work better. It's really hard to try to figure out, but I think that at least keeps it all into the family. And when you look at the bottom where the focus fabric was, it just fades away. At least now, if I had the inner border to do over again, I wouldn't have chosen such a dark one, I don't think. I might have chosen the lighter. But I think that using all the fabrics from inside the quilt gives it a chance to pull it together. So the thing that I found, if you were to ask me what makes a good quilt, it's being brave enough to say it's not working and being willing to try something else. And if this didn't work, I would come and do something entirely different. The reason I chose piano key border for this is because I already had the strips cut to 2.5 inches wide. That's the same width that the strips, if you look horizontally, it's the same width that I cut the strips for the Bargello middle. So I think now it's just a very bright, happy quilt, and I'm letting it be what it wants to be. Let the quilt tell you what it needs. And then like I said, I am cutting up the old border to use as part of my piano keys. And that way, if you're looking at the quilt, you say, oh, now I know why she chose these colors. So it still helps pull it together, but it doesn't get washed away. And any fabric down there that I don't use in the piano key border, I will save for another project because I love the focus fabric. That's the whole reason I chose the fabric I did for that Bargello, is because I saw the focus fabric and I went, oh, I love it. So I will be saving. I was looking for a piece of it. Well, it's just a little piece, but I love that fabric. That is a phenomenal fabric. And I'm going to make another project with it because, a good fabric, a great fabric is a terrible thing to waste. So, all right, let me clean up my area right here. So that part is done. I was trying to get this one finished, but I didn't get very far. What I'm doing now is I'm going around with black thread. If you didn't want to do this with black thread, you could take a black micron pen, or probably be best, and just outline. But you have put a lot of work to put all of these petals in, and it helps to make them stand out. And what I wanted to outline stitching with thread, because I want that texture of each petal. Okay. I put 2 layers of batting in this. And so I want that texture. But I'm also going to go around them with a micron pen to give them, because the black thread is fine, but it's not quite enough. And when you look at your quilts, if you feel like, it's a little washed out, or I don't know, I can't quite explain, but it's just not quite what I thought it would be, then try doing some outlining, some highlighting, whatever you want to call it. Try that. Now, when I finish all of the delineating of the petals, then, and I need to come and I'm going to add a leaf or 2 down, like they're falling from it, and a couple blue petals, because this is supposed to be a blue dahlia. So I'm going to have a couple little petals like falling. Once I put that on, and if I want to put some of the batting under those, I can. Then I'm going to take and put batting under the entire piece and backing fabric. Then it's going to go on my long arm, and I'm going to do dense background quilting. I'm going to come and do outline to make this pop, because it's already got 2 layers. Then once it has the whole general layer, it'll pop even more. And so I'm going to do outlining of the flower and then do dense background quilting so that the flower becomes the star. And I think it's really pretty. I think it was Polly that said use black fabric. Thank you for that suggestion. And so hopefully I'll have this one finished by next week. Now, I put in some good orders for some things, and I'll tell you what the things I put the orders in for in just a minute, because what I've decided to do is when I get, I didn't even bring it down. I set it aside and forgot. Mary sent me a wonderful article about Earth, Wind, and Fire. And she said she's going to try to do one a little less intense, but she is going to do a circular and symmetrical. So I can't wait. Now, she sent me the information from her research on the Earth, Wind, and Fire, that whole phenomenon, and through history and mythology and all of that. So Thursday night, I am going to print out, it's about 4 or 5 pages. I'm going to print it out and share it with you. Thank you, Mary, for finding this for us. It's called Sea Mither and Teran, Teran. Can't wait. I'm going to read all about it and then share it with y'all. So thank you for letting us know when something good is coming up, a free pattern, a show, information about something we're working on. Thank you. All right. So in that same vein, stretch them. In that same vein, I, have been working on my beach quilt, and I thought I'm at a stage where I can come in and add my seagulls. Do you see those seagulls up there? These are ones that I printed on a special printer fabric. And so I went online and found free photos of seagulls. Yeah, I've had this one on for a while, this one right here. And then I added another one getting ready to land there. And I decided I need another big one there. Now, I got so excited to add those. And then I realized they don't show up. So I've got a plan for that too. And I'm hoping I haven't taken all of my micron pens upstairs. I might have, because I would work. Oh, here's a couple. Yay. So I'm going to show you what to do if you use appliques. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Let me show you real quick what to do if your appliques do not show up on the quilt. Because, you know, if you go to the work to print them out, cut them out, put them on, they really should show. That's only fair. So, this is the fastest and easiest way to show them. All right. All right. And I'm doing it very delicately because I don't want to do something I can't undo. Although, is there really anything in quilting you can't undo? Do you remember seeing that up close seagull? Well, now look at it. Just by taking that micron pen, look at that. Now you can see him. Now I'm going to do this big one in the sky. And let me show you a before. And now I'm going to bring the camera down so you can see what part do I feel like is important to highlight. All right. Let me see if I can do it upside down so you can be looking right side up. All right. So here is it. His head is right here. I'm not sure these, I guess, are feet kind of crunched up. Here's his tail feathers. And where his body's darker, I just do a little shading. And don't be afraid to do this. Now, yes, you can use Sharpie fine line markers, but I will give you a little warning. Sharpies are known to, what do you call it? They kind of run, they get absorbed by surrounding fabric and drawn up into it. So in my experience, the Sharpies don't give you that tiny fine line that a micron does. And I even cut out a little, these wings are so narrow. I cut out a little bit of the white fabric so I would have a place to highlight. And then I'll come back where the wing is darker and just do some fine straight lines to kind of help bring that darkness in. Okay. So I've done a little bit on his face. I've got to be careful not to make it too bright. I'm going to highlight his feet, a little bit of his tummy, a little bit of the tail feathers. Just remember what's there. Picture what's there. And add just enough that people know exactly what it is. So sometimes, like right here, they have little light lines where the feathers are. So go ahead and help accentuate those just a little. If you do too stark, if you do too much outlining, it will look like a cartoon. You don't want that. So that's why it's better to start very light. You can always come back in and add more. But if you go in too heavy-handed, it will be a cartoon and it won't give you the look you wanted. And you can run just slightly off the fabric and do some of this outline on the background. So Just a little bit of, get those striations that you already saw on the fabric. So, yeah, sometimes the wings are so thin, you can't just do the fabric to give the outline. You have to just go a little bit on the background. And that's fine, because especially if like this background down here, it's very dark. Right here, it's very dark. So do a little thicker outlining to make it pop from the dark background. And where it's a light background, you just use a very delicate hand. See that? So I did it darker where it's dark, lighter where it's light. You don't need as much. And then while you're working on it, take a moment, look at it, see if it gives you everything you wanted. Then you can always go back and do a little bit more. But that's my best advice, is what I've had to learn, which is slowly and gently, Deb, because you can always add more. All right, so now look at that. See how you see him? It stands out so much more. So now you see this one in front, and you see that one flying. So just remember. Now you can use ink tints pencils if you want, but they tend to run too. When you put the liquid on them, especially water, they'll seep into the surrounding fabric. So that's when a micron pen comes in. And here we are. So each one of the seagulls is going to be outlined. All right. And I wanted to show you, I went and while I had it on the long arm, I did a bunch of circles right at the water's edge to just give it that frothy look. And you know that the waves were made from sewing down cheesecloth, kind of twisting it, bunching it, and then lightly sewing it down. And then you can, if you have an old toothbrush, that's great. Whoops, down a little more. I have another. Oh, I've got thread all over me now. But what you can do is use your fingers or use a brush, like an old toothbrush, and go along where you have sewn down the cheesecloth and just ruffle it up. Give it dimension. Try to never iron where you want there to be dimension. Okay, you try not to ever iron trapunto, but look at that bird. Doesn't he look cool? Now he shows. There's another one right here. You hardly notice it, but look at this. In fact, I'm going to do that one too, just because it's fun. I love outlining. When you were a kid and you were coloring in a coloring book, did you outline before you colored? Because I loved taking, like, let's say if something needed to be pink in the coloring book, I would take and do a dark pink outline and then come in and color it with the lighter pink. And oh, that was fun. Okay, so here's the little feet. Here's the tail feathers. So just give a light little helping to shadow the tail. Whoops. Oh, this is the one I'm doing. Wow, that little bit that I'd already done really made it more bold. So just go around carefully. And then where it's dark, just go in with your pen. Just do just hatch marks. I'm not even doing cross hatching. If you really wanted it to get dark, you could do cross hatching and really bring it out. Okay. Little hatching there, little hatching on the wings. And like I said, use a delicate hand so it doesn't look like a cartoon. All right. And you might not even be able to see it good enough to know exactly what you're marking on because it's so tiny. But it's worth it. Just do only what you see. And now look, you can definitely see two birds in that sky, can't you? See how simple that is? See how simple? Very simple. So a micron pen is going to be one of your best tools. Here is this bird. Now this other one, I did some thread painting. Well, I can't see if I've got it there. Look, right there. I think it's there. I did some thread painting and I did some outlining. So whatever you need to do to really bring that bird to life. So I'm almost done with this. And what the next step is, I've got to work on the light blue, blending the light blue sky into the dark blue, just a tiny bit better. One thing I did when I was cutting out the seagulls, there was a lot of scrap of white. And I said, well, that's white fabric and it's already got fusible on it. So I extended my clouds a little bit. And I think that helped in blending the light blue with the dark. So I might come back in and put another one there, and that it kind of helps melding them. I extended this one and I extended that one. So, and I think I did this too. So I might put another one right around here. And then guess what? It does the blending for me. How perfect is that? All right. So then once I finish the rest of the thread painting, if I do thread painting in the sky, this one's about done. I'm going to go ahead and quilt it. And I'll probably go ahead and use a high loft batting. And by quilting it, I'm mainly going to do outline stitching around the fencing, give dimension to the fencing around each bird, each cloud, some of the waves, replicate some of the stitching I did on the waves. And so that's what I'm going to do. Maybe do a little reinforcing of the sand, maybe do a little bit of quilting in the seagrass to give that a little definition. And I will then bring it back to show you, like I always do, since this is a landscape quilt or an art quilt, I will use fabric to frame it. So I'll probably use a light tan mat board and then follow with maybe a very dark brown frame. So anyway, and that one will be done. So my new thing is to really finish these quilts that I make with you, because when they're finished, you can put them on the wall. You can enjoy them. When they're not finished, they're just taking up space in a drawer or a plastic bag. So that's my new thing that I'm going to be working on. In fact, let me pull out I showed you the Bargello, the piano keyboarder. I'm going to get ready and show you circle weaving. I showed you the flower fusion. Can't show you the triptych because it's still upstairs, but we're going to have that all finished this week. And just to let everyone know, I'm taking only so far as Thursday nights. Thursday nights, I'm taking August off because, are you ready? I plan on making homemade paper with threads woven into it and dried flower petals. And then I ordered some more supplies to do journal making, which I'm going to do with you. All of this making paper, journal creating, I'm going to do with you. And then I'm going to do indigo dyeing. And depending on how much time I have, I would love to get out my real basket weaving, my reed and stuff, and make a basket with you. but that might have to wait till fall. But that is something that I'm very anxious to do. Now, what I'm going to do, because our Thursdays, our landscape is probably the most popular thing I do. So I don't want to give up that kind of work. I just need extra hours in a week to make these other things happen. And I still haven't done the skill snips, which I've been wanting to do for a year. So I'm hoping I'll have it'll free me up, at least energy wise, to get some of these things done. But what I've already started. Our next project on Sundays is going to be a stained glass quilt. And I like getting the dark background. The leading comes from the background. And then everything is going to have pieces that you then cut out and you fuse into place. So in a way, it's kind of doing the same skill that we've been doing with our Triptych, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Blue Dahlia. But this way, when you take and you cut out that piece of the exact color fabric that goes in the exact shape and spot with fusible on it, it's going to be instant stained glass. In the old days, I will bring down a stained glass quilt to show you that I never finished. It's hanging up, but it was going to get bigger. In the old days, when we did this 20 years ago, we had to put a little thin piece of black fabric around every single piece. That was crazy work. No wonder it didn't get finished. But with the new way of having your dark background, and that acts as the leading, it is much easier. So I am trying to decide. I'm culling information and getting my folder ready full of ideas so that I can make my own pattern, and I will give that to you for free. And it is a scrap perfect project. Okay. So, okay. And you don't have to do much thinking. It's going to be another one of the coloring, but you're coloring with fabric. All righty. Now, and I promise not to make it too busy where it gets overwhelming. I know I tend to jump in with a big splash, but I'll try to make a smaller splash this time. All right. So now you know what I'm going to be doing with my extra time in August: making paper, creating journals. And I've got to go to Walmart tomorrow to pick up the extra supplies I needed. And I've got a whole different plan in mind. I can't wait to show you. All right. And if I end up making enough and they end up looking good, I've got all kinds of doodads, all kinds of coverings to put on the journals, a great fake leather, some really cute fabrics, and gluing things on them. I know. I feel like that I'm going to lose y'all if I don't keep things moving along. But I guarantee you this year, we will not have made or touched on 36 projects like we did last year. That was too much. I'm like, whoa, slow down, Nellie. Which brings me to my next subject. So August is going to be a fun time with lots of ideas and inspiration. But come this fall, I have decided one of the reasons I wanted Thursday nights off in August is all I'm managing to do is keep up with the projects I keep introducing to y'all. And I have 2 wedding quilts to finish. And it's a sin. One of them has been going on for 15 years. And the other is 5 years. So what I am going to do is I'm going to start pulling out like at least one new project, one UFO a month, and do some working, show you what I'm doing to it, if there are some skills that come up, like with the double wedding ring, I've got a really nice, easy way to teach you to do that. So I'm going to instead of coming up with a thousand new ideas, I'm going to slow down a little bit, try to get some things off my to-do list. Because as you know, I have well over 100 UFOs. And that I'd like to think that there's plenty to learn while you watch me talk about these UFOs. And I'm going to choose ones with all different techniques so you get to see, what is that technique? How does that work? But I think I need to take a little bit of a deep breath and slow down on trying to throw constant new ideas at you. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm exhausted. But anyway, I also invite you this fall, when I start working on UFOs, I invite you to pull out a UFO and rethink it and, find one that you really want to work on, and you can work along with me. And that way we can kind of inspire each other to get these things finished. And because, like I say, an unfinished project is just taking up space. It's not able to be enjoyed. And so I want to take all of these projects in plastic bags and make them works of art that can be enjoyed. So I hope you will join me on that. And all right. So, ready? I wouldn't mind a drum roll, but here is my circle weaving. Now, once I finished with all of the yarn that I wanted to put on, I took the outer ring off. And then do you see the threads? I used a size 12 thread. And so it's really strong. Not a single one broke the whole time I was weaving. You know how they always pack when you're doing a row around, you take, and quilters take a comb or whatever, and they pack it in each time? Because when you take off the threads that hold it, see all of these orange threads that used to go out around here? When you take them off, do you see what it does? It kind of bunches up, kind of gets uneven looking. Well, I was thinking, I didn't know it was going to do that. And I was thinking, how do I handle that? And then I remembered, when my daughters do their knitting, when the knitting is done, they have to block it. And it's kind of like sizing a quilt, blocking a quilt. And so once this is fully off, I'll do the same thing here. I love using foam core board or that insulation board. And then what you do is you spritz this with water, get it nice and wet. And then you take T-pins if you have them, but whatever good pin that you have, you make sure that you pin on opposite sides, and then keep going middle, and keep until you have it well pinned, and let it dry on that board. Okay. So I know that's what I have to do to make it lay flat, because it is a little bunchy. Now, if Polly is here, if she comes in, let me know, because she might be able to give us some more hints. But this was so much fun. I'm going to let you look nice and close. It was so much fun. I used eyelash yarns. I used chenille yarns. I used a nice little cotton yarn in the middle, and I put a bead there just to let me know where that was. But I just used all different kinds of yarns. And it's funny because I just grabbed miscellaneous yarns. I did not pre-choose the colors. I just grabbed. And you know what? They all play nice together. And it's just a matter of deciding what order you're going to put them on. And now I'm going to bring you down now. I better have, there's supposed to be there it is. I've got the big needle that I use to weave. It does not have a sharp point on it. And it's a great big like tapestry needle, canvas needle, that. But I want to show you something. You know how I said if you have a nice old toothbrush that's clean, then brush this, because where I wove the eyelash yarn, if you just come along and fluff it like this, then it really comes out. See how fluffy it is? So this is another thing to do. But you can see where it wants to draw up now that I've taken it apart. Now I'm going to bring some light over here and show you how to take it off the ring, okay? Now, the first thing is I had put tape every place I wound the string on. I had put a piece of tape to hold it in place. So I come along and pull off that tape. And this is just regular cellophane tape. All right. So now once that tape is off, then I come in here with the scissors and I nick this thread right here. Now, when I nick that one, then I end up with these two pieces. Let's see if I can bring this down just a little bit more. All right, so now I have the two pieces here. But see how this is hanging out? There's nothing there to help save it. So what I do is I take my longest of those threads and I thread this tapestry needle that I used. And then I'm going to go around that piece of yarn that's hanging out there by itself and then come in around this one. All right. Then I take the other end of this, wrap it twice because that's how you get the knot to stay, and do one more knot. And so now you see this is the way I've gone around and taken it off. I'm going to show you that again. Hello, Miss Teresa, hon. Okay. Oops, this one came off on its own. Wait a minute. No, that's the one I just tied. Silly me. All right. So I'm going to cut. I try to cut them where I know like this just goes to there. So I'm going to cut this next one because when I was putting the strings on, I went around the whole time and then came back over. So what you want to do, don't let your threads get confused, but you want to cut this one that went around the second time. And that way, the only reason is because it gives you longer pieces of thread. Then I take the longest one, I put it back on this needle, which just makes it easier to go back through. And you can even make it go around a second one so it's got some support. Once you've gone around that, whoops, hold on. I think I need to do one more time to get, I want to make sure that all the threads are completely wrapped. All the yarns, I mean, are completely wrapped by these threads. So I pull it through. Now, see, now it's completely wrapped. I want to make sure, yeah, this one's good. And just do it. Run the string through the knot 2 times, tighten it, then do one more and tighten it. Now, one thing I've thought of doing is finding when I've got some cotton twine coming in, and I might do like pick part of this and make a little thread. You know how rugs have the warp threads left on them? Fringe, that's the word I was looking for. So I might do a fringe. So anyway, this is now done. So I'll come in here and with this one, and it's Not the one that pops up easily, but the other one, cut that off. That way you'll have two nice, well, one nice long thread, and put the needle back on. That way I don't have to, it does less disruption to all of these yarns than if I took my big finger and stuck it through there. All right, and just making sure that all of the threads, all the yarns, pardon me, the yarns are fully tethered to the piece. Okay. So this was so easy, and it's yarns I had around the house. And now it kind of lets me make it lay flat. It kind of does a pretty good job of that, but I want it to really behave good. So that's where I'll take like a foam core board or a piece of anything. You could even, if you had a, you could, trying to think. You wouldn't want to put it directly on wood, but let's say you put a towel on wood and then pin it through the towel. But I'm going to do a couple more of these. Then we'll go and do show and tell. But that way, if you want to think about any of this or take notes, and what I tried to do with every layer of yarn, I tried to make sure that I went 2 times around, at least 2 times around, because especially with the chenille yarns, they can kind of get lost a little. So, and another thing, I was thinking of using the chenille. I thought, well, what if I went around and every time I tied a knot, I made it into a fringe? Then I realized, wait a minute, chenille yarn does not make good fringe. And I will tell you why. Okay, hold on one second. Let me get this knot, and then I will tell you why. Chenille yarn is not a strong yarn as such, okay? When you have a chenille yarn, it is made by, you have 1 thread, 2 threads. These threads start wrapping around each other like this. And in between these wraps, they put other threads going this way. Threads. Okay, so let's say you have this long wall of threads, and the chenille yarn, these yarns come in and go around and around and around and around and encase all of these threads going this way. Then a machine comes along. Hi, Miss Mitty. A machine comes along and shaves them off like this. So over here, when the thread continues, you would have another back and forth and back and forth. You would have another of this same process. Now, these are pretty small and tight, but you can still take, even you cut these off, you can still take and pull them out of the chenille yarn. So if you cut off this chenille yarn right here, it would want to pull out of all of those little spaces. It's not in there permanently. It's just in there as long as you're nice to it. So you can take chenille yarn and look at that. With no tug at all, you can pull the pieces right out. See that? So that would not make good fringe. And now you know how chenille is made, whether it's for the bed or what. They will shed because it's just little pieces that have been shaved off. So, all right. Oh, I forgot to take pictures of the garden. I'll have to do that next week. And let's see. All right. So I'm going to do another one of these and then we'll go do show and tell. But I hope you've had a good week. I hope that you're getting enough rain for your flowers and garden. I hope that the temperatures will start cooling off so that you can be comfortable where you live. And it just makes us real appreciative of the good days. And understand, if you start to feel a little blue, it is normal. Mark was reading an article that the dog days of summer are true because people get overwhelmed by the heat. They get over. Let me see. I want to get this off so I can hold it up and show you without. Now, one thing I'm noticing, my tape is taking off little micro thin little wood chips off of the wooden hoop. And so don't try this around your grandmother's favorite antique hoop, but it doesn't really hurt it. It just makes it maybe a little rougher, but they're pretty fine little splinters. But I wanted to leave some of this on so I could show you how to go about finishing it. If you did not tie and make sure all of these are encased in the thread, it would start to pull apart. Not only would it pull apart, it would take and you could pull it and have one side crunch up and the other side be tighter, because like I said, this stuff is when you weave, you're pretty much just going back and forth in between threads, and you're not stable until you have cut it off the frame and somehow fastened all those warp threads. And the warp threads are the ones that run lengthwise. The weft is what you weave with the shuttle that goes back and forth. And that is why you see so many rugs with fringe on it, because that's how they tie off the threads to make sure that the rug won't come undone. So that's what the rug fringe, that's the purpose it serves. So I just used to hate when it would get caught in the vacuum. But I realize now that without that fringe, your rug would come unwoven. All right, so just go back under. I like going back under 2 so that when you tie it off, it's really secured. And just don't forget, make 2 loops. That's what the lock stitch, that's what makes it a lock knot. And then one more. And that way it can't come apart. All right, so I will do the rest of this after we do show and tell. That way, hopefully you can see what this looks like when I fully have it off the frame. And I definitely want to do more of this. I probably won't get to it until winter, but I would love to start toying with making pattern, which means as you go around, like with this dark thread, you would then go off to the side or tie it off and then run another one around, so it's instead of going around the entire way, if you pull that color off after a little bit, then go with another one, then maybe the next time around you bring that color back down here, you could end up having a stair-step pattern. So that's how you get the pattern. Hi, Ann, good to see you. So, okay, well, let's go do show and tell. Then we'll come back, and I only have a few more threads to get this off the ring. It's so soft, too. You know what? If you like drinking tea or coffee, it'd be a great thing to put the coffee, like a little teapot on. But I think I'm going to try to use wooden beads and the cotton string and make it into, like on the top, tie it to a piece of raw wood like a part of a crooked limb, have it hanging, and then have some fringe off the bottom with wooden beads. This is where you get to play. And I haven't even started beading it all yet. So that's going to be fun, finding cool stuff to sew to it. Okay, let's see our show and tell. Let me bring everything in place. All right. I also want to give a shout out to my Mark because he came down here yesterday and worked. I told him I was disappointed with how the camera reacted to the lights that I had under the cabinets and things and how it would get dark. And so he made a whole test video and worked out that the extra lights I had been turning on when I work on the ironing board were causing the problem. It was better just to use the room lighting I already had. So he made a whole test video just to help me. And I want to thank him for that. Oh, thank you, Miss Mary. I just saw a sweet note. Okay, here we go. And let's go to our show and tell. Come and hopefully I've gotten it. If I don't, I apologize. It's been a wee bit busy. So, okay. Let me go to okay. All right. And let me see. Let me peek at this real quick. Whoops. Okay. Wanted to see if I had an earlier beach landscape to show you to where I had started it because I'm really pleased with how far it's come. I don't think I have a really early one. Oh, well, I'll need to take more pictures next time. Okay, so we're going to start with Alexis. And I love this. Miss Alexis is turning into quite an impressive hand embroiderer. She's starting her own business. She sold a lot of stuff. She's even had someone design. Here is her own symbol that she had designed so that she can claim her work. And it's just so nice to have a logo. So that, and it's a G+G, Grand Galvatron. And she's selling her work now. So it's amazing. And just to say, we knew her when, and that is, I'm just so proud of her work. So we love supporting new artists, but look at her stitching. Look at how amazing. She's come a long way. She was very good at it at the beginning. She's come even farther. And this one, it looks like she's made it to be something someone can applique onto a jacket, something like that. And I love all her beadwork. So, keep that in mind. To you, it might just be a little simple something, but to others, they might really appreciate owning a part of your work. Okay, this is Anne's. Yes, Anne Lewandowski. I'm sorry. I need to look at her name to know how to pronounce it. I apologize. Lewandowski. Okay. Now look at this. This I found of all hers, this one really interested me. But she does beautiful collaging. She goes to thrift stores and finds great deals on frames to frame her work. I love that she has so many creative ideas, just sits and plays with fabric and does wonderful applique work. And it just, I can't wait to see what else she creates. So, and if you join our groups IO, you get to have your own photo album. We do have to be careful not to have too many photos per person. Whoops. Because if we do, we'll run out of space. We are very fortunate. Our group's IO, we have a free site, so we don't have to pay a monthly rental fee. And that's why we have to be careful with how many photos we put on it. But oh my gosh, I was just tickled at, and look how she frames them. I wish that would stop doing that. But I love how she frames them as the tiny works of art that they are. So, celebrate your work. And how wonderful is that? So she does hand embroidery on these, beadwork, applique. Celebrate your work and know your value. That is wonderful. We've got some very talented people on this site, and I am tickled to share their work and the things that they do with it. Beautiful. Oops, my hand is a wee bit shaky today. I'm trying not to have a repeat carpal tunnel surgery, but I've been wearing my brace, but I might just have to. If I lose this I'm so dominant left-handed. If I lose that hand, that use of that hand, I would become ill. It would just be too much. So, but aren't these wonderful? So thank you. And look how creative. Look at this. Isn't that great? I love it. So thank you, Miss Ann. And we want to take you up on some of your amazing ideas and try it out. Try those ideas out as a group project. Okay. Now, Betty, let me see. Okay. Now, these look a little confused. What is this one? Okay. Oh, some of these were ideas. Oh, okay. This is for our Betty, and I said her name wrong the other day. This is Betty Middleton's work. And I apologize. I think I called her Betty Williams. I'm not sure why, but this is Betty Middleton's work. I love her beach. And you see how she's brought some of her own ideas in. She's done, in fact, I took one of her ideas. I put a few little thread painted plants, weeds actually, on this side of my fence too. But I love the work she's done. And I love she uses her own vision. Here is her wonderful, no, I think this is Debbie Holtz. This is Debbie Holtz. I wonder if that sand was also Debbie Holtz. I'm getting a wee bit confused. You can see I do need some time off, but this is Debbie Holtz because I remember her making it. So I'm wondering now if this is also Debbie Holtz. So I am sorry, Miss Debbie. I absolutely love this. I think it's wonderful. Only thing I might even want to recommend is come in with a little glint from the sun on this side of this post. This fence board already shows that beautifully. If you put a little lighter strip of fabric or something right there, catching the sun rays, that would be extraordinary. Just on this little edge. But you do very good work. And I'm sorry I got your name wrong, hon. All right, so now what happened is I had a computer malfunction, and when I went to save things, they didn't save to the right places. This is Betty Meisner's work, and I am so impressed with her color choices. I wouldn't have thought to put these colors together, but they're beautiful together. Isn't that amazing? You look at that mustard yellow next to a teal or purple. She has a very good eye for color. I love it. Then here is a jacket she made out of a red sweatshirt. And it also, can you see the Bargello in here, the progression of fabrics? And then I love the back of this. She did a house inset. Isn't that just precious? I love that. Creativity. And here now is half of Betty Meisner's Bargello done. Isn't that great? I love that. And I love that she used subtle colors. That colors that alone might have looked flat, but look how beautifully they carry the design. And it makes me stop and think. I used so many dynamic colors, but what if I had let some of the softer, duller colors help accentuate the brights? I love it. It's like you have to have the stars, you have to have the middle people, and you have to have the background workers. And all three together make a beautiful, beautiful composition. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, come back here. And okay, I guess I'll come on in and show you this. Not that one. Let me see. All righty. I'm hoping I'll run across the deer video, but it looks like they're all images. All right. So here is what we had in our yard yesterday around noon. That seems to be their favorite time to come eat in our yard. Remember the baby that I told you was born here? We saw it just moments after it was born. And there it is, looking much bigger. And here's the mama. And she looks like she's had a few. In fact, I assume this is last year's daughter. Now let me pick another picture. They're eating, just in case you wanted to know, this is a double file viburnum they're eating, and they're welcome to eat that one. Had needed to be cut down for a while. The funniest thing is the baby was punching under her mom, trying to nurse, and the mother finally kicked the baby away, thinking, I have brought you to a smorgasbord and you're trying to nurse, go find your own food. And the baby got the hint and said, oh, okay, and started to eat and enjoy things in the yard. All right, that's when I was cutting my fabric. Oh, I want to show you, this is so cute. This is Mark. He is fascinated with the volcano in Iceland. And he just watches it progress, and it's fascinating. So then I've been taking some pictures. Let me close out this one. I've been taking some pictures of it because, boy, would that make a dynamic thread painting, machine thread sketching painting project. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So let me work my way through some of these. Okay. But this thing has grown so huge. It is amazing. Oops, that was the before of the Bargello. Now let me see what else I have. I don't want to just show things I've already shown. Okay, these are good to show. This was when I just started working on that dollhouse. Okay, so the walls come wood stained or supposedly wallpaper stained. Here are the artworks that it has. You just glue them on. This, you glued on the picture and then the frame around it, the sill, and these two little shutters. So that's when I just started. And then here are some photos of it finished, and I thought you might be able to see it a little bit better this way. I do wish they had put a light bulb back in there, but and all the furniture you pop out and glue together. I did a really good job of gluing my fingers all the time. But it's a lot of fun. It's a beautifully made kit, and I see now why it's priced the way it is. It's just such attention to detail, all the little fancy moldings, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. And I made all of those 100 books. But actually, using the little wooden pieces and just gluing the paper around them, it's a pretty easy way. The accordion fold ones were a little tougher. It had these posters that you roll up and glue, and it had a little wooden holder for those. It was magical to work on. Here, they had posters, and you're supposed to glue them on the wall and glue it on the wall here. That's that window I was telling you about with the shutters. And I love the paintings that you put on the wall, the depth of them, the rails that come. I made a little chest right there with things on it. It was so much fun. This is the one decorative molding that I told you had 4 pieces to it. You feel like you're really building something. Just beautiful. And I did it all by myself, including the lighting. I was a little nervous about the lighting. It all worked beautifully. We're back to the deer in the front yard. I'm really hoping that I've got the video. Now let me see. I've got to scrunch these down and see. Because the video is of her eating my rose bushes. I was not happy with the rose bush eating. They can have all of that viburnum they want. Oh, here's the video. I do have it. Yay. Okay. So she starts eating there. Let me see if I can turn it up. Not sure if you'll be able to hear it. Look at that baby. Isn't it doing beautifully? I guess it's about a month old. And where is mom? She's eating my roses. And she goes for the blooms first, of course. So, and Mark was sitting there filming this thinking, do I make her stop eating Deb's roses, or does Deb want her to eat them? And just about that time, I hollered out, don't let her eat my roses, because I figured that's where she was going. And so he thumped on the door. And what does she do? She doesn't run off because he's standing at the glass door thumping on it. The baby started to get worried. And all the mother did when he thumped on the door was move down further to the next rose. So then he had to open the door and tell her to leave. Because, of course, they want your very most precious things. Aren't they just cute? As much as I think they're amazing and beautiful and I love them, they are really doing a number on some of my precious plants. They eat all my hostas. They eat the rose. Oh, I barely hear. This is when I said, don't let her eat my roses. Oh, now that when I said that and he thumped on the door, the dogs went, but watch what she does. She says, I'll just go down to this rose. Whoop, there's that bloom gone. He said, but that's all she wants to munch on. Like, yeah, oops, I don't know why I'm turning this away. But I'm so tickled you got to see that. I wasn't sure if it would show up on here. That's what I was working on while I was late to come in. Then every day we take new shots of this volcano. It is going on and on for miles. Here, I took a little video of, because I love how it shoots up out of the center. This is a man named Isaac. I forgot his last name, but he is doing these beautiful videos on YouTube. Oh, there it is. There. Look at this is an extra little one. Hold on, let me go back. This is an extra little spot that's bursting out below the volcano. Let me see. But Isak over in Iceland is doing a beautiful job filming this, and he's got it on. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Mm-mm-mm. So I just thought I wanted to show you that. And this is just creeping ever forward. There is where the volcano erupted, and look how far it's now come. So people are still going to see it. I don't think I'd want to do that. Oh, and then I didn't bring down my triptych, but here is the process that I have so far, and I'll have it finished by this Thursday night. So, and then that's the fun part because I'm going to have you. Whoops, I don't want to turn this around yet. I'm not done. Keep forgetting that, but I want you to help me decide how we're going to cut it into 3 pieces. So now go back here, Debbie, and I need to move those pictures over here so she gets her own credit. And here is a lovely, I love the use of piecing and applique. I think it's a great idea. And here is a wonderful applique. But I love the bright, bold colors, fabrics, a wonderful mix. Here is a Bargello that she had made in the past. And here is a lovely summertime scene. And this is the underwater fish and seahorses. Lovely scene. Okay, now let's see where we are. Diana B. These are the 2 quilts of valor quilts that she made and actually was able to go to the award ceremony and award them to the soldiers, the veterans themselves. What a wonderful thing she does. Thank you, Diana. All right, now we'll go back here. And Miss Jody's wonderful courthouse. Wonderful, wonderful. Don't forget, if you have any matinee monsters ideas for her, she's looking for a new idea. So just remember our Jody with any matinee monsters. All right. And then here are all of her 1890s 9 patches. And here is a Bargello baby quilt that she made some time back. Beautiful. All right. Now, who is next? Miss Mary has some. Wait till you see her Bargello. Look at that. In fact, the colors are very reminiscent of someone else's. Isn't that cool? I love it. Love, love, love it. I love all the different colors that Miss Mary gravitates to. And it gives you, pardon me, it gives you a chance to see that the color choices can make quite a difference. And it just gives a whole different flavor to it. Okay, Miss Melanie. Oh, I need to find out how our Miss Melanie is doing with her shoulder replacement. That's her special nurse, Willow, taking good care of her. And let me see. Oh, look at that. You got to get well with somebody like that cheering you on. And don't forget, when she can get back to sewing, she's going to show us an amazing way of putting together her nod to the 19th century. So thank you, Miss Melanie, and I will shoot you a quick email, see how you're doing. Oh, good. Miss Meltum's pictures did come through. Now, here is a quilt that was in her shop. I don't know if it's still available, and it's all about viewing a man through all stages, from pre-birth to old age, and just love her work. I love the attention to detail. Beautiful. She's made another bag that's in her shop. Isn't that gorgeous? And look at the little embroidered trim she put on there. Look at her quilting. Beautiful. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. This attention to detail she puts into her shop with everything she makes. And oh gosh, I kind of forgot. Miss Melton, if you're still here, sweetheart, would you type in the name of your Etsy shop again? And every time I say I'm going to write it down and not forget. And guess what? Then I forget where I put the paper with the name on. I think it's Swan Quilt Art. I'm thinking that's the name of her Etsy store, Swan Quilt Art. Oh, look at inside. Look at that. Yep, Swan Quilt Art is on that little tag. But look at the attention to detail that she puts. And she has her brand tag on there. Brilliant idea. We're always so happy to feature her work because she does beautiful quality work. So thank you, Miss Malcolm. Thank you so much. And if we didn't live so far apart, wouldn't it be great for us to be able to visit and see how she works? And oh, here is Michelle's wonderful tulip quilt. And I love the green sashing squares. Beautiful. And we send our love and good thoughts for a fast recovery to Miss Michelle. And there is her Bargello quilt that she made when she lived down here in North Carolina. And it's beautiful. All right, now let's go to, let's see, Miss Robin was asking. Now, y'all might be able to help her with this. Do any of y'all know if you can use bamboo fabric as a backing on a flannel quilt? I told her I've never used bamboo fabric, but I think I've heard it doesn't shrink as much as cotton, and I would think it should work pretty good. But if any of you have any experience, would you type in your answer here, and then that way she can see it and know what you think. I'm going to show her two amazing, look at this flower bed. Her pictures from her front flower beds are just beautiful. But I assume this is her front, but who knows? It could be her side door or back door. But aren't all of those wonderful flowers? And she has a type of purple coneflower down there, if that's what it is, that I've never seen before. Just beautiful. Okay. So thank you, Miss Robin. Now, Miss Rose, and Miss Rose lives in Canada, winters in Portugal, and this is the view from her dock on the lake up in Canada. Isn't that beautiful? Gosh, that's so peaceful. That would make a lovely quilt. And a gorgeous up close of a sunflower, wonderful vegetables that she grows. Oh, I'd love one of those tomatoes on a bologna sandwich right now. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. And then Miss Sheila sent in a picture of her Bargello that she had done at some point, and it is amazing. The one thing to keep in mind, it's well worth learning how to do a Bargello because there are so many designs you can make with it. Isn't that beautiful? All right. Now let me go to Teresa Jukovic. Here we go. And this is a beautiful Bargello that she made. Look at that. And this one is made in block form. Look at this. What a great idea to be able to make it in separate blocks. That's fantastic. And here's a cute, cute Happiness is Homemade. Oh, I love that star. That is really almost reminds me of a tulip pink pattern. I don't know if it is, but I love that. And then here is a wonderful Dresden flower or grandma's flower garden. I'm not sure how you would call that. And then, I love the colors and the fabrics. It is so wonderful to see different colors used as background. That is amazing. And this is made by cutting the exact wedge. And I'm trying to remember how many we said. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 wedges per medallion. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing those, Teresa. All right. And I think that is it for those. So thank you so much. Keep feeling free to send me your photos and we will share them with everyone here. Send photos of your work, of maybe a special food that you made or baked, your flowers, whatever is bringing you joy during the heat of this summer. Please send to Our Time To Quilt at twc.com and we will show them. All right, let me close out some of this. I'm trying to get back to you. There you are. But thank you so much for showing all of that. And it is Tula. Oh, that's wonderful. It's funny, but people do have their own signature. Their signature in the way they design fabric, like Allison Glass fabric is Allison Glass fabric. K Facet is K Facet. So people have their own signature, and you start to pick up on that if you quilt as long as I do. I have been quilting. I took it up somewhere between 1988 and 1990. And I took it up as an adult continuing education course as a chance to just get away. I did daycare and worked at a museum, and I just needed a chance to get out and do something just for me. So I took a class and didn't learn that much, but in the years after, I kept coming back to it. I always thought I would be a sketcher and a painter, but I found there was something very alluring about using fabric as your medium of choice, and I've stuck with it since then. So, okay. Yes, I did make the taco salad and it was delicious. How nice to have a cool taco salad. This is one of Terry's recipes, and he cooks his hamburger. And I don't know if he seasons part of the hamburger, but he saves some of the seasoning to sprinkle over the lettuce and the sour cream and stuff. But he chills the cooked hamburger and he mixes it with chopped up lettuce, sour cream, taco seasoning. You can put in diced tomatoes. You can put in salsa. You can put in cheese, all of that. You just mix it up with the sour cream and chill it in the refrigerator. And we added some avocado to it. It was creamy and delicious, and put it on a bed of Tostito crackers. It was yummy. So tell Terry, thank you so much. Oh, that's cool. So you can even take and put all of that, mix the Dorito chips with zesty Italian salad, toss that salad dressing, and put the chips on the plate, the seasoned chips, and then put the taco salad on top. It was wonderful. Please tell him thank you. You made a graham cracker pudding for the first time. Oh, take pictures of that. We love that kind of stuff. Love these new ideas. Wonderful. That was a king size bed. Woo! That was a big quilt. So now I'm just going to come down here. We're about about done with today. But I thought if you have any questions, how are you going to quilt the Bargello? Yes, I was supposed to tell y'all that, and I forgot to ever do it. I need, I'm going to have to come back with you with that. I've ended up getting so busy that I want to do more researching. I like to go onto Google and I like to put in quilting designs for Bargello quilt, and mostly from Pinterest. But boy, you will get some good examples. I click on images because I want to be able to see what they're doing. But it will be something with movement, something a little flowing, because especially now that it's going to have the piano keyboarders, then I need it to, whoops, I don't cut these strings off yet. The reason I'm not cutting these strings off yet, these threads, are because I might make a fringe. And all I have to do is take a couple little pieces of whatever I'm going to fringe it with, about this long, tie it right in the center of this, and it'll help me make my fringe. So that's why I am leaving this and seeing how I'm going to decorate it. Because if I put some of the twine with wooden beads, I will use these to tie it to. All right. But this, I have wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more little strings. And I didn't even count how many strings, but I put a lot because I wanted it, the more weaving you do, the more stable the piece will be. So I wanted lots of over and unders and over and unders. And okay, run that through like this, and then tie it down with a double knot followed by a single knot. So I'm not really sure yet how I'm going to quilt it, but I tell you what, I will let you know Thursday and next Sunday, unless I put it on our Groups IO site. Now, if you want to send pictures to our site or my email, it's OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. And if you want to join our Groups IO, it's free. And it's Our Time to Quilt at twc.com. And send me pictures. You can request any of the free patterns for the things I do. And if you want to join our Groups IO, so you're right in the thick of things, and I put all of our files on there. You can have your own photo album on there. You can ask questions. I try to find and share free patterns. So, and if you just send me an email, tell me what you would like to do. And I try. Now, this week I got a little busy. I apologize. But I try to answer your email within 24 hours, if at all possible. All right. But I was trying to get caught up. And one thing I found, if I get on my computer, start checking emails and reading news stories online, oh my goodness, that's a rabbit hole that's hard for me to get out of. And I can get on the computer, next thing I know, it's 4 hours later. So I apologize, I wasn't on the computer much this week. But boy, did I get stuff done. So, all righty. So now I've just got these, 4 left to do. So let's get these puppies done. Any other questions you have? It's nighttime in Turkey. Oh, honey. Yeah, let me see. Is it about 1 a.m., maybe 2 a.m.? I'm trying to guess the time difference. So you need to get some sleep, busy lady. But we love having you come. We are so honored that you would take time out of your sleep to spend this time with us, hon. So, but as you can see, it's pretty easy to take this off. Just making sure that every row is now snug. Nothing can come unwoven. All right. And I just have these 3 left to go. And then, so you have a moment if you wish to ask any question. I wish I could solve more problems, but I do know that slaves were not compensated by the horrors they went through by being given a skill to know how to work cotton. So I just want to go on record as a teacher to say that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm not sure who in the world he got on record to say that. But nope, slavery was not an apprenticeship. Was not. All right. And in my book, the more you try to make stupid excuses, the more guilty it shows you feel. And the best thing to do is just admit it and apologize and move on. And, you're drawing attention to yourself for pretty dumb reasons. But y'all didn't come to hear me lecture about that, so I'll be quiet now. I'm hoping. It is looking like it's going to rain, and I hope it rains. We could use it. But as soon as we get off this show, I'm going to go water the plants I've got growing along the driveway. And, and the chipmunks out in my yard, I'm going to make last thread, but I'm going to make a video of our chipmunks. They are so cute. And you go outside and they kind of just stand and look at you. So they haven't developed a fear of us yet. Not much of one anyway. And they are precious. I just love them to bits. And they don't eat my roses. I love the deer too, but they got to stop eating my roses. With the new kind of roses we have, they are so easy care. And then the deer go and eat them. All right, so now I'm going to hold this up for you to see. I finished. So here it is. Here it is from the side. Here it is from the back. Exactly 12 midnight. Oh, that's neat, hon. Thank you for staying up with us. So here it is, and it's pretty. It's pretty. You can't stretch it because the warp threads, do a good job of holding it in place. So the next step will be taking a spray bottle like this, and you're going to spray it down. I'll probably do front and back. Spray it down really good, and then pin it to a foam core board. And especially if you have those T-pins, but once it's wet and you're just going to stretch it to the right shape. What I would just do is decide what size circle you want this to be. Draw that circle on your foam board with a permanent marker so it won't stain your weaving, but have it that size circle, and then with it damp, stretch it and pin it until it lays perfectly smooth. Then don't touch it until it's totally dry. It might take 3 days to totally dry. Then carefully take it off. Depending on your fibers you use, you may be able to give it a little light press. If in doubt, find a piece of thin muslin or cotton left over, place it, and then iron on top of that. And then then start decorating it. And it should be fun. You notice I'm not putting the beading and decorations on until this is all blocked out. Okay. But anything like this that you can put the pins through that'll hold it in place while it dries flat. So there it is. And if you have a hoop, and if you have some old yarn, and if you have some sturdy cotton twine, whatever, you can make your own weaving. So I thought this is a great introduction into easy weaving. Now, I like using that hoop because I can really work on it. But I've seen people take a round piece of cardboard, cut notches in it, and do it that way. But I thought this was a lot of fun, and it was something easy to do while I'm watching TV. All right. Last week, I showed the actual weaving stitch that I used, how I managed to do it nice and fast, and a lot of fun. All righty. Well, I hope you got something interesting out of today's show. These I love. And like I told Mark, the science of laser printing, using a light beam to cut wood, has made all this stuff possible. Isn't this great? So I love it. All right. Well, I think I'm all done today. And I think I hear my hammock calling. So take good care. Do something nice just for you this week. And can't take care of other people unless you first take care of yourself. And try to stay cool. Drink plenty of good, clean water. And soon this too shall pass. In fact, the next time we get together, let me see. What is today? Today is the 23rd. Nope, we have one more Sunday in July. One more left. So we'll have to do something special to welcome in August fun days. Take good care and have a great week. I will see you this is going to be our last Thursday for a month, but I'll see you Thursday and then I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye. You're the best. Thank you for spending time with me. Bye-bye. You are the best.